muscle strength without you even realizing it, and this quiet change can affect your balance, energy, and independence over time. This process is commonly known as age-related muscle loss or sarcopenia, and it tends to happen slowly, almost like a small leak that goes unnoticed until the effects become harder to ignore. Many people assume that feeling fine means everything in the body is functioning optimally, but internally changes are taking place that require attention. One of the key factors behind this is how the body processes and utilizes protein as we age. Research from organizations like the National Institutes of Health explains that muscle protein synthesis, the process your body uses to repair and build muscle, becomes less efficient over time. This means that even if you are eating the same amount of protein you did in your younger years, your body may not be using it as effectively. Similarly, Harvard Health highlights that older adults often need slightly higher protein intake to maintain muscle mass, not because they are doing more physical work, but because their bodies respond less efficiently to protein intake. Another important aspect is that appetite often decreases with age, which can lead to reduced overall food consumption. This creates a situation where the body both needs more protein and is receiving less of it, making muscle maintenance more challenging. According to the Mayo Clinic, this combination can contribute to gradual declines in strength and physical performance if not addressed through mindful eating and lifestyle habits. At the same time, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention emphasize that muscle strength is directly linked to functional independence, meaning everyday tasks like walking, climbing stairs, or carrying groceries can become more difficult when muscle mass decreases. This is why understanding these changes early is so important. It allows individuals to make small, practical adjustments before significant decline occurs. It is also essential to recognize that this information is meant for general education and awareness, not as a substitute for personalized medical advice. Each individual's health condition, lifestyle, and nutritional needs can vary, so consulting a qualified healthcare professional is always recommended when making significant dietary or lifestyle changes. Another factor often overlooked is the role of daily habits. For example, long periods of inactivity can accelerate muscle loss, while consistent, gentle movement helps signal the body to preserve muscle tissue. The World Health Organization notes that regular physical activity, even at moderate levels, plays a key role in maintaining muscle health and overall well-being in older adults. In addition, many people rely heavily on traditional beliefs about certain foods, such as assuming that common protein sources like eggs are always sufficient. While eggs are indeed nutritious, the broader picture involves total daily protein intake, variety of sources, and how those nutrients are distributed throughout the day. Scientific literature available on PubMed supports the idea that spreading protein intake across meals may be more effective for muscle maintenance than consuming most of it in one sitting. This highlights the importance of not just what you eat, but how and when you eat it. By understanding these underlying biological and lifestyle factors, individuals can take a more informed and proactive approach to maintaining strength and vitality as they age. You've likely heard for years that eggs are one of the best sources of protein, and while they are certainly nutritious, the idea that they are the ultimate protein source can sometimes be oversimplified, especially when we look at the needs of older adults. The important point is not just how much protein a food contains, but how that protein fits into your overall diet, how easily your body can digest it, and whether you are getting enough across the entire day. According to our Harvard Health publishing, a single egg contains about 6-7 grams of high quality protein, which is beneficial, but there are other foods that can provide equal or greater amounts of protein per serving, particularly when consumed in slightly larger portions. For example, foods like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, lentils, tofu, and lean chicken breast can provide higher total protein depending on portion size, and they often come with additional nutrients that support overall health. What makes this especially relevant after the age of 60 is the concept of protein density and digestibility. The Mayo Clinic explains that aging bodies may not process nutrients as efficiently as before, meaning that simply eating protein is not enough. The body must also be able to break it down and use it effectively. For instance, dairy-based proteins like those found in Greek yogurt and cottage cheese are often easier to digest for many people and contain a high concentration of essential amino acids, which are the building blocks your muscles need. Similarly, plant-based proteins like lentils and tofu, while slightly different in amino acid profile, can still contribute significantly to total daily intake when combined properly. Research available through PubMed highlights that a variety of protein sources can improve overall nutrient intake and support better muscle maintenance compared to relying on a single food source alone. Another important factor is timing and distribution of protein intake. Many people make the mistake of consuming most of their protein in one meal, often dinner, while having very little at breakfast or lunch. However, studies referenced by organizations like the National Institutes of Health suggest that spreading protein intake evenly across meals may be more effective in supporting muscle protein synthesis throughout the day. This means that instead of relying solely on eggs in the morning or a large portion of meat at night, it can be more beneficial to include moderate amounts of protein at each meal. This approach helps keep the body in a more consistent state of repair and maintenance rather than trying to compensate all at once. There is also a common misunderstanding that more protein automatically means better results, but quality and balance are equally important. For example, processed foods labeled as high protein may contain added sugars, unhealthy fats, or artificial ingredients that do not contribute to long-term health. The Cleveland Clinic emphasizes the importance of choosing whole, minimally processed foods whenever possible, as they provide a better combination of nutrients that work together in the body. Additionally, hydration and overall calorie intake play a role in how well protein is utilized, something that is often overlooked. It is also worth noting that individual needs can vary widely based on factors such as activity level, overall health, and existing medical conditions. This is why the information provided here is intended for general educational purposes rather than personalized medical advice. Consulting with a qualified healthcare provider can help tailor dietary choices to specific needs. Ultimately, the idea is not to replace eggs entirely, but to expand your perspective on protein sources and focus on a more balanced, varied approach. By doing so, you create a dietary pattern that better supports your body's changing needs, helping maintain strength and function in a sustainable and realistic way. As the body ages, one of the most important yet often misunderstood changes is how it processes and uses protein, and this shift plays a central role in muscle maintenance after 60. Earlier in life, the body responds efficiently to protein intake, meaning even moderate amounts can effectively support muscle repair and growth. However, over time, this response becomes less sensitive, a concept often referred to as anabolic resistance. According to the Mayo Clinic, older adults may require a higher intake of protein to achieve the same muscle building effect that younger individuals get from smaller amounts. This doesn't mean the body stops using protein, but rather that it needs a stronger signal, more consistent and sufficient intake to trigger muscle protein synthesis, the process responsible for repairing and maintaining muscle tissue. This change can be compared to an aging engine that still works but needs more fuel and better timing to perform at its best. The challenge is that many people are unaware of this shift and continue eating the same way they did decades earlier. Research highlighted by the National Institutes of Health shows that aging muscles do not respond as robustly to protein intake unless it is consumed in adequate amounts and combined with physical activity. This creates a situation where even if someone believes they are eating normally, their body may still not be receiving what it needs to maintain strength. At the same time, appetite often decreases with age, which further reduces overall nutrient intake. This combination, reduced intake and reduced efficiency, can gradually lead to muscle loss if not addressed thoughtfully. Another important factor is how protein is distributed throughout the day. Many individuals tend to consume very little protein at breakfast, a moderate amount at lunch, and a large portion at dinner. However, studies available through PubMed suggest that the body may utilize protein more effectively when it is spread evenly across meals. This pattern helps maintain a more consistent level of muscle protein synthesis rather than relying on a single large intake that the body may not fully utilize. For example, including a protein source in each meal rather than concentrating it in one can provide repeated signals to the body to maintain and repair muscle tissue. In addition to diet, physical activity plays a critical role in how the body uses protein. The Cleveland Clinic emphasizes that muscle tissue responds best when protein intake is paired with movement, especially resistance-based activities such as light strength training or even bodyweight exercises. Without this stimulus, the body has less reason to preserve muscle mass, regardless of how much protein is consumed. This is why a sedentary lifestyle can accelerate muscle decline even in individuals who believe they are eating well. On the other hand, combining adequate protein intake with regular movement creates a supportive environment for muscle maintenance. There are also common mistakes that can interfere with this process. One of the most frequent is focusing primarily on calorie reduction rather than nutrient quality, which can lead to insufficient protein intake. Another is skipping meals due to low appetite or busy routines, which reduces the opportunities for the body to receive and use protein effectively. What can be done instead is relatively simple, prioritize balanced meals, include a reliable protein source at each eating occasion, and maintain a level of daily physical activity that encourages muscle engagement. It is also important to understand that these strategies are general recommendations and may not apply equally to everyone. Individual health conditions, medications, and lifestyle factors can influence nutritional needs, which is why guidance from a healthcare professional is always valuable. By understanding how the body's response to protein changes with age, individuals can make more informed choices that support strength, mobility, and overall well-being over time. Many people believe they are doing everything right, eating regular meals, staying generally active, yet still notice a gradual decline in strength and energy as they age. And often the reason lies in small, everyday habits that quietly add up over time. One of the most significant factors is physical inactivity. Muscles function on a fuse it or lose it principle, meaning that without regular movement, the body begins to break down muscle tissue because it is no longer being consistently used. According to the World Health Organization, regular physical activity is essential for maintaining muscle strength and functionality in older adults, and even moderate activities such as walking or light resistance exercises can make a meaningful difference. When daily movement decreases, whether due to lifestyle changes, retirement, or health limitations, the body receives fewer signals to maintain muscle mass, which can accelerate natural age-related decline. Another often overlooked habit is poor sleep quality. Sleep is not just a time of rest. It is when the body performs critical repair processes, including muscle recovery and hormone regulation. The National Health Service explains that inadequate or disrupted sleep can affect the body's ability to repair tissues and maintain overall health. During deep sleep, the body releases growth-related hormones that support muscle maintenance, and when sleep is consistently poor, this process becomes less effective. Many older adults experience changes in sleep patterns, but may not realize how strongly this impacts their physical strength over time. Stress is another hidden contributor that is frequently underestimated. Chronic stress can lead to elevated levels of cortisol, a hormone that, when persistently high, may encourage the body to break down muscle tissue rather than build it. Research referenced by the Cleveland Clinic highlights that long-term stress can negatively affect multiple systems in the body, including those responsible for maintaining muscle and metabolic health. This means that even if diet and activity levels are relatively balanced, unmanaged stress can still interfere with the body's ability to preserve muscle. Simple practices such as relaxation techniques, maintaining social connections, and engaging in enjoyable activities can help reduce stress levels and support overall well-being. Dietary habits also play a crucial role, particularly the reliance on highly processed foods that are marketed as high protein. While these products may contain added protein, they often lack the full range of nutrients needed for optimal health. The Harvard Health Publishing emphasizes the importance of whole, nutrient-dense foods as they provide vitamins, minerals, and other compounds that work together to support the body. For example, whole foods like legumes, dairy, lean meats, and nuts not only supply protein but also contribute to better digestion and nutrient absorption. In contrast, heavily processed options may include excess sodium, added sugars, or artificial ingredients that do not support long-term health goals. A common mistake many people make is focusing on one single aspect, such as diet, while overlooking how lifestyle factors interact with each other. Muscle health is influenced by a combination of nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management, and neglecting any one of these areas can limit overall progress. What can be done instead is to adopt a more balanced approach, maintaining consistent daily movement, prioritizing restful sleep, managing stress effectively, and choosing whole foods whenever possible. It is also important to remember that these are general guidelines intended for educational purposes and may not apply equally to every individual. Personal health conditions, medications, and physical limitations can influence what is appropriate, so seeking advice from a qualified healthcare professional is always recommended when making changes. By becoming more aware of these hidden habits and making gradual, sustainable adjustments, individuals can better support their muscle health and overall quality of life as they age. One of the most helpful ways to understand strength and muscle maintenance after 60 is to think of the body as a small construction site where multiple systems must work together in balance. Protein acts as the raw material, the bricks and cement, while physical movement serves as the builder that uses those materials, and rest, especially sleep, is the time when the actual repair and rebuilding takes place. If any one of these elements is missing or inconsistent, the entire process becomes less effective. According to the Harvard Health Publishing, maintaining muscle mass in later life depends not just on protein intake, but on how that intake is combined with regular activity and proper recovery. This means that simply increasing protein without movement or exercising without adequate nutrition may not provide the desired support for muscle health. Daily routines play a critical role in aligning these three components. For example, starting the day with a balanced meal that includes a source of protein can help provide the body with essential amino acids early on, supporting muscle maintenance throughout the day. The Mayo Clinic notes that spreading protein intake across meals can be more beneficial than consuming most of it at one time, as this approach supports continuous muscle protein synthesis. In addition, incorporating light physical activities such as walking, stretching, or gentle resistance exercises helps signal the body to preserve muscle tissue. These activities do not need to be intense or time-consuming. Consistency is far more important than intensity, especially for older adults. Another essential factor is rest and recovery. Sleep is when the body carries out many of its repair processes, including muscle recovery and hormone regulation. The National Health Service explains that adequate sleep supports overall physical health and helps the body recover from daily activities. Without sufficient rest, even a well-balanced diet and regular exercise routine may not fully support muscle maintenance. This is why prioritizing sleep as part of a daily routine is just as important as focusing on nutrition and movement. Many individuals make the mistake of overcomplicating their approach to health by following extreme diets or intense workout programs that are difficult to sustain. Research available through PubMed suggests that long-term adherence to simple, consistent habits is more effective than short-term, high-intensity efforts that are quickly abandoned. For example, instead of drastically changing eating patterns, it may be more practical to gradually include a variety of protein-rich foods such as legumes, dairy, lean meats, or plant-based options into regular meals. Similarly, rather than committing to strenuous exercise routines, focusing on daily movement and gradual progression can lead to more sustainable results. Hydration and overall calorie intake are also important considerations that are sometimes overlooked. The World Health Organization emphasizes the importance of maintaining balanced nutrition and hydration to support overall health and bodily functions. Without adequate energy intake, the body may begin to use its own muscle tissue as a source of fuel, which can contribute to muscle loss over time. Ensuring that meals are balanced and sufficient helps prevent this process and supports overall well-being. It is also important to recognize that individual needs can vary based on factors such as health conditions, medications, and activity levels. Therefore, the information provided here is intended for general educational purposes and should not replace personalized guidance from a qualified healthcare professional. By focusing on the combination of proper nutrition, consistent movement, and adequate rest, individuals can create a practical and sustainable approach to maintaining strength and independence as they age. After the age of 60, maintaining strength and overall physical function is less about making drastic changes and more about adopting a smarter, more consistent approach that aligns with how the body naturally evolves over time. The key idea is that the body is still capable and adaptable, but it responds better to steady, balanced habits rather than extreme or short-term efforts. One of the most important factors is dietary variety, particularly when it comes to protein sources. Instead of relying on a single go-to food, incorporating a range of options such as legumes, dairy, lean meats, and plant-based proteins helps provide a broader spectrum of amino acids and nutrients. According to Harvard Health Publishing, a varied diet supports not only muscle maintenance, but also overall metabolic health, as different foods contribute unique vitamins and minerals that work together within the body. This approach helps ensure that nutritional needs are met more comprehensively rather than depending on one source alone. Consistency in physical activity is another essential element. The World Health Organization recommends that older adults engage in regular, moderate physical activity to maintain muscle strength, balance, and mobility. This does not require intense or high-impact exercise. Even simple activities such as walking, light resistance training, or stretching can be effective when performed regularly. The goal is to create a routine that is sustainable and adaptable to individual abilities. One common mistake is attempting to follow demanding exercise programs that may lead to fatigue or injury, resulting in inconsistency. A more effective strategy is to focus on gradual progress and daily movement, which signals the body to preserve muscle tissue and maintain functional strength over time. Rest and recovery are equally important, but often underestimated. Sleep plays a critical role in muscle repair, hormone regulation, and overall health. The National Health Service explains that adequate sleep supports the body's natural recovery processes and helps maintain both physical and mental well-being. Without sufficient rest, the benefits of proper nutrition and physical activity may not be fully realized. Establishing a consistent sleep routine, minimizing disruptions, and creating a comfortable sleep environment can contribute significantly to better recovery and long-term health outcomes. Another important aspect is avoiding the pursuit of quick fixes or relying on the idea of a single superfood that can solve complex health challenges. Research available through PubMed indicates that long-term lifestyle patterns have a far greater impact on health than short-term interventions. This means that focusing on daily habits such as balanced meals, regular activity, and proper rest is more beneficial than trying to achieve rapid results through restrictive diets or trends. A common misconception is that significant improvements require major changes, but in reality, small, consistent actions tend to produce more sustainable outcomes. Hydration and overall energy intake also play a supportive role in maintaining muscle health. The Mayo Clinic highlights that proper hydration is essential for bodily functions, including nutrient transport and muscle performance. Inadequate calorie intake can lead the body to use muscle tissue as a source of energy, which may contribute to further muscle loss. Ensuring that meals are balanced and sufficient in both macronutrients and micronutrients helps support the body's needs and prevents unnecessary breakdown of muscle tissue. It is also important to consider that individual needs can vary based on health status, medications, and lifestyle factors. Therefore, this information is intended for general educational purposes and should not replace personalized medical advice. Consulting with a qualified healthcare professional can help tailor these principles to individual circumstances, ensuring that any changes are safe and appropriate. By focusing on a combination of varied nutrition, consistent movement, adequate rest, and realistic expectations, individuals can create